Good morning. It's me, Pearl, from Pearl in the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And I'm here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our outside world. So we can learn things about people from our real lives from these readings, but really we just need to keep coming back and understanding that wherever we are, people are going to reflect the energy to us. And if we want change, we have to shift how we perceive ourselves so that our outward perceptions start to align with that. All right, so both divine masculine and divine feminine showed almost all their cards except for one today. And we're just going to go with divine masculine because I think divine feminine's been going first a lot. So he's going to go first. I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling. Okay, so here we go. Top of the deck, overall, forefront of the mind, headspace for divine masculine energy is the Two of Wands. So we have a divine masculine who is thinking a lot about this journey that he is on. This is a card often associated with twin flame energy because of the two wands. It's a card of acceptance in terms that it's knowing that you've asked for something and believing that what you've asked for will be given. And you're patiently waiting to see it arrive, but you don't know what it's going to look like, where it's going to come from, how it's going to unfold. And so you just kind of have to brace yourself and trust. And in this image, the divine masculine here, there's a lot of tension there. He seems to have a lot of power and a lot of tension. So there's like a lot of energy built up in the asking that has gone on for this Two of Wands energy. The niggling thing in the back of his mind is the Ten of Pentacles in its reversal. And this is from the Ethereal Visions Tarot. And it's one of the only Ten of Pentacles cards I've seen with figures on it that doesn't include the couple. It just has, good morning. It just has a patriarch and then a young man and a dog. And so there's definitely loyalty, lineage, legacy, growth from like a young energy, like into the fullness of your potential. Those are all things I think of more when I look at this Ten of Pentacles than when I look at other Ten of Pentacles imagery. And when I see the reversal on it, I think that divine masculine's reflection is like, he's like, I've asked for this and I want this to happen. But there's just some fear within him that just feels like it might be out of reach or he's not going to be able to achieve what he desires. So he's like, I feel like a little bit of a struggle going on because the front of the mind is like, no, I have to trust in this journey. I have to trust that I've asked and it will be given. But there's that tension. So there's just this feeling, I guess, because when you really want something, and there's also the energy of really releasing the outcome and not, I don't know what's going to happen. And so I'm releasing my attachment to the outcome. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to release my expectations pretty much. So that's where he is in his headspace. The first thing on his mind is the King of Wands in reverse. So if we were seeing it upright, it would be a sense that he's ready to take action and ready to make quite a big communication. But we actually don't see him in readiness entirely. I get a sense that he's working up to this moment, but he's in the process of becoming this. And that's why that Two of Wands is there with him bracing himself with that powerful energy to be able to receive what he's asked for. So he's working up to this in his mind. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Today's the day. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it today. That's where he's at. Like, just really trying to get he knows that he has the power. It's like they're ready to just spring from him. There's also, of course, sexual energy associated with the King of Wands. And I think, again, we see him trying to suppress that somewhat because he finds that it makes it difficult for him to focus and concentrate on what he needs to do. And he also wants to approach, he wants to come correct. So he wants to come in a way that's not going to be overly sexual, because there is a feeling here of just wanting to like tear into each other, you know? So he's working on suppressing that energy too. So he's like, I can do it. I can do it. You can do it. And then the next thing on his mind is the Ace of Swords in reverse. So what can he do? Well, he's trying to work up the courage to present this Ace of Swords. He's to look truthfully and honestly at his headspace and his heart space, and then express it to divine feminine. He's struggling with this new version of himself. He is a fiery divine masculine. He could be a fire sign or have somewhere sun, moon, or rising kind of a fire sign. He is a fiery masculine. And he's really struggling to see himself as a man of action. He's always been just kind of like go with the flow, and things just kind of happen. And then he's like, okay. And this is not that. So he's really struggling to like think of himself this way. But he's really, really trying, because he wants to embrace this new idea of himself, to be able to achieve his wish fulfillment in this Nine of Cups energy. We understand when we see this card in the spread that it means he's going to get his wish fulfillment. Well, what is his wish fulfillment? He wishes he was brave enough and just bold enough to take this action and become like new and express what he's been hoarding and keeping to himself with these crossed arms of his. I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you how I feel. I'm not going to be vulnerable. I'm not. What if you don't like me in the end? What if you reject me? No. That's like the state he's been in. And he's been at war with himself about it too, because he wants to be a man of action who can communicate how he feels. He wants to embrace a new idea of himself. And the next thing we're getting is the Chariot upright. And I love this. This is Cancer energy. This is swift moving energy, a lot of forward momentum, because the balance has been achieved inside of self, so that now this team can pull together and they can go forward. So the Chariot energy is clarifying what he wants to be able to do, right? He wants to take the next step and move forward with divine feminine. This new idea he wants to embrace about himself that he's having trouble embracing, it's that he is this powerful magician, that he has this ability to manifest, that he's a manifester and can get what it is that he desires. He's struggling with this vision of himself as, first of all, if he embraces this about himself, it means both things, doesn't it? It means that he can manifest this amazing creation, but it also means he manifested all the other bullshit that happened beforehand. Great, right? So accepting that new idea about yourself, which is like, oh, I can't blame anyone else, right? Nobody's fault but my own. That's a hard truth. No one likes to admit that. We love to be like, well, because of where I was born and what happened to me, which is valid. That's valid, of course. That does make a difference where you were born, what happened to you, where you're from, what you look like, who you talk to, how much school you had, how much access to wealth you had. All of those things absolutely matter. They make up who you are, they do matter. But those things are in our belief system a blending of choices made before and during in a timeline that is not linear. You're like, this is what I want. And then the divine is like, okay, adjusting all these things so you can have this all the time from infancy and beyond, right? So he's like, whoa, shit. That's a big responsibility to start thinking about all the time. Great. But the next thing that is on his mind is the Wheel of Fortune and his destiny and his fate. And I love this freaky ass version of this card because it has the weightiness of destiny in it. You know, the Wheel of Fortune is like a wheel, and then there's like the things on the four corners, and but it doesn't have this kind of like this is your fate, and you can hear like the dark voice of that being. It's kind of like the ghost of the Christmas future or whatever, the one that's scary and is like, you're dead, you know? Doesn't speak at all, actually. It's just the Grim Reaper. But it's heavy. It's destiny. And it's clarifying his wish fulfillment. It is his destiny to achieve this wish fulfillment. He knows it. He feels the forward motion, and he knows he has to take action. And that the only thing stopping him from achieving this 10 of Pentacles is himself. Okay, cool. Let's look at his heart space. Top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space, 2 of Pentacles. Why? Because we were just talking about the heavy weight of this responsibility of his fate. So the 2 of Pentacles, about balance, about choices, about partnership, about juggling a lot of things. And I do feel that Divine Masculine is feeling this weight of his fate and how he's juggling all these pieces because he's about to embrace a new vision of himself and unburden and unload and express and stop hoarding and start to give himself to someone else, trusting in that Divine Feminine, which is hard for him because his niggling feeling is, I don't know if I can trust Divine Feminine still. Which is totally normal when you're about to, embrace your destiny. He's like, maybe I made a huge mistake. So his niggling feeling is, I'm working on trusting the Divine Feminine. I still don't trust my emotions. I still don't trust that they're telling me what I like. I'm still having trouble differentiating between fear and intuition, right? Well, fear is the result of thoughts. Intuition is just like a pulling feeling that you can't ignore. If you feel fear, it's because you're thinking about something that's making you afraid, and that's an illusion. But your intuition is just this like hook behind your navel that's like, go, here, 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 here. Or no, don't do that. But it's not going to be accompanied by like a wave of fear. Like, no, don't do that. With a wave of fear comes from your head being like, you will be humiliated and your ego will be destroyed. And then you're like, Dad, fear, I'm so scared. That's fear. But when you're just like, no, I'm not going to take that exit ramp. I got a feeling there's some shit going down over there, and you keep driving, that's intuition. Not fear, but just don't take that. Okay, I won't. It's calm. Intuition is calm. It's never like freaked out or panicked because it's from the higher self. So he's learning about this. How does he know what is his fear and what is his intuition? And how is he sure that he can trust Divine Feminine? Because Divine Feminine, and him, they have a history, right? And he's like, I don't know if I can. I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying to balance this energy out, reciprocate, juggle all these pieces. And also, he doesn't want to show up in front of the divine feminine in her completely full psychic intuitive state where she seems very intimidating and like he can't hide from her, and that makes him feel very uncomfortable. So he's also feeling that too, like she can see right through me, so I have to tell her the truth. And we have this Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight, or Prince of Discs in this deck, which is the True Heart Intuitive Tarot. But it's the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight in the deck, clarifying this King of Wands in reverse. So very slowly and very steadily and very reliably and consistently not taking action. Like, what the fuck? Slowly and steadily not taking action. But this is why. Because he has this very solid offer that he's being very careful with, methodical, and he's plotting forward step by step, heading towards the star, right? He's following the star, his wish. The next card in his headspace is the Nine of Cups, which is his wish, fulfillment. And this is his wish. And this is what he's slowly and steadily heading towards. Divine feminine, revealing her, allowing the unconscious to pour now into the material for all to see. That is what he is slowly and steadily doing. It is also what he is afraid of in his headspace. He's afraid of showing the truth about himself. And divine feminine, it's not because he thinks you're deficient or that he cares what anyone else thinks about if they thought you were deficient. It's not that. He's just afraid of revealing this weakness, this divine feminine that has captivated him to the point where he has very obviously surrendered in such a way. His divine feminine integration inside of self is making him feel this discomfort of like, people are going to make fun of me. They're going to laugh at me. They're going to think I'm foolish, not because of who I love, but because I love that all and this intensely and have expressed it in such a way that it's going to be so obvious. And he's struggling with this new version of himself that is open and honest and illuminated instead of hidden. And he's feeling a lot of overwhelmment about this with the Seven of Cups energy, clarifying this Nine of Cups. He's feeling very overwhelmed by all of these feelings and emotions. He has put a lot of these ideas and fantasies together, and now all of these dreams are coming true, right? He's coming out of his dreams. He's coming out of his reverie that he's been in. And it's time to see this actual full expression in this Nine of Cups energy. And instead of withholding now, he has to choose the means of expression, how he's going to be able to share. And he is feeling excited because he knows that a lot of opportunities are going to come from revealing himself. But it's still a fear and an anxiety and a confusion about exactly what's going to happen. His Queen of Cups. She's in reverse again because he's feeling emotional reactivity in himself. The Seven of Cups is an overwhelming feeling, and the Queen of Cups in reverse is about being overwhelmed by your feelings, because the Queen of Cups upright, she's very comfortable. She's floating, she treads water. She can just be immersed in her feelings and be completely safe. But this queen, when she's in her reverse, she's overwhelmed. And he's overwhelmed because he feels this powerful motion of the Chariot energy, how they're heading in this direction. And he's about to pour out to her everything that's been in all of these cups. And he's also, I just think, bracing himself for her emotional outpouring that he's knows is going to come, because he feels perfectly capable, wait till you see this, of manifesting the 10 of Pentacles, which he was worried about in his headspace. His heart space is like, nah, bro, you good. You can have this whole family, the house of your dreams, the freedom to express the way that you've longed to express, you can have the family, the, you know, the legacy, it's well within your power. You are able to manifest your heart's desire. And in fact, you have done this. You have done this. And it's about time. And your destiny is being cleared by some overfeeling. The Three of Cups, which is definitely, or I'm sorry, the Three of Pentacles, which is definitely about collaborating and working together. So there's this thing that it's like you are destined to work with this energy, with this divine feminine energy, to create something, to be in a team and collaborate. And then finally, the heart space being like, it's time. It's time now to walk away from this past energy where you are unable to express and take action, to walk away from all of the karmic situations that had happened in the past, and to follow your path towards your higher calling. And your higher calling is to work together with this divine feminine energy to create something that you are both destined to create, which will be a fulfillment of material and spiritual happiness for you here on the planet Earth. Okay, let's go look at divine feminine, who looks a little messy. I'm not gonna lie, she looks a little messy, just a little. Let's dig in. Maybe it's not that bad, but yikes. All right, top of the deck. Overall headspace forefront of divine feminine's mind is the Seven of Swords in reverse. She can't get rid of this card. It's bugging her. I've been watching some readings the last couple of days, and the energy coming from the readings is frustrating me because I'm like, what is this third party fixation everybody has right now? So she's been having this same thing, like, there's a third party? What's the third party? There's definitely some divine feminines who have been freaking out about that energy, and there's not. So I think what we keep seeing in the readings is divine masculine reflecting upon reasons for withholding. And those reasons include past relationships, including karmic and like third party energies from family and friends and career and all kinds of things. But divine feminine starts to get worried about it and be like, what is happening? And she really wants these secrets to be revealed. She wants these things that are hidden to just come out into the light so that she could honestly just relax. She's having a hard time relaxing. She feels this strategy, but she's actually not sure. She's like, maybe he actually doesn't have any strategy at all. Maybe he's just firing willy-nilly into the dark and hoping he hits something, and like he, you know, is just really planning to murder me with this process because literally it's killing me, kind of a thing. She's like, what the fuck is he going to do? What does he want to do? Why won't he tell me? What is it? And because of all of the mystery of it, it really distracts her from being able to do anything. She's having to watch readings because she's like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, I don't know. And part of that is like fearing that she's not going to get what she wants. Part of it is not wanting to be present with herself and do what she needs to do because she feels still some of the worthiness things in there, like she's not quite worthy of having what it is she desires. There's also like just some practical things that are complementing her energy to keep her from being super excited to like get shit done, you know? So she's not in the best headspace if this is the forefront of her mind. But there's this niggling thing that is making her feel the Seven of Swords. What the fuck is happening? I want to know the secrets. And the niggling thing is the Ace of Pentacles. She can feel this big, fat, abundant green offer just hovering there in the ethers, like a divine masculine who has projected in his outer behaviors, communicating in some way, maybe not directly, probably not directly, which is why she's like, what's happening? But there has been some indication that he has some big fat intention. And so the niggling thing in the back of her mind, underlying everything she's thinking about, is like, is he going to make this offer? What's it going to be? When's it going to happen? Am I going to want to accept it? Is it what I deserve? How am I going to be different when I accept it. So no matter what she's thinking, this is in the back of her mind. This abundant, nurturing offer that she really, 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 really wants. Because this offer from outside of her represents an offer that she thinks she'll be able to give after she receives this. But she doesn't understand that she already has this nurturing abundance within herself. And she doesn't have to wait to receive it. She just needs to like go ahead and prepare her offer, which is not for a specific iteration. It's for herself. It's what she wants to give to herself. So she's got to kind of go in and figure out whatever it is she wants to receive from the divine. Like, let's say she wants to receive an offer of marriage. What is the essence of that? Security, companionship, I don't know. The ability to create a family, so creation, create a legacy, a legal contract. I don't know. You want a legal contract? Those are fun in our litigious society. When you start to like pick apart what it is about the thing that you want, it starts to seem a little bit like, I mean, what is it that I want? Because I was married before, and I was young. I was 23. And I definitely was like, oh, once I get married, I'm going to feel totally different. You don't. You don't. So she's like, okay, well, if I want this thing from the divine masculine and I have to give it to myself, what does it mean to be married to myself? Well, it means to be committed to myself for in rich and in poor. So that means whether I have the money or I don't have the money, I'm still committed to myself and what I dream about and my passions. In sickness and in health, it doesn't matter if my body is perfectly well. I still love my body. I still stick by it. I still do whatever I can to make sure it's safe until death do us part. Well, I'm fucking in it until death do us part. So I guess that's just, I don't even have to get a legal contract for that. I'm just going to be here for this whole time, right? So divine feminine, whatever it is you think you're getting from that offer, if it's marriage, if it's for me, I would just like a phone call. It doesn't have to be a ring. It just has to be like, hey, I like you pretty good. Let's see how it goes. And I would be like, chill. And then we would see how it goes. Like that would be fine. So what does that mean to me? That's like, wow, I'm having a experience with a person in physical reality. So I need to experience more people in physical reality in my space. Like I just need to get the fuck out of quarantine and just find ways of doing that are safe and still meeting my needs for physical interaction. I don't even need a marriage. My offer's not that complicated. I can give that to myself really quickly. And I did this week. My bassist came over. I was like, look, a human being. I got to hug somebody. It was amazing. So figure out what offer you need and give it to yourself. That thing that's underlying every single thing you're thinking about, it's your responsibility to do that, not the specific iteration. He can't do shit for you until you do for yourself. First thing on your mind, 5 of Swords in reverse. You're sick of fighting. You're just like, I don't really want to fight for this anymore. I'm exhausted because the person I'm fighting, first of all, is so nice. He's like the nicest person. He's this king of cups. So this energy is like, he's good, he's compassionate, he's caring, he's loving, he's like intuitive, he's psychic, he's sensitive, etc. So it sucks to fight against somebody who I love and who loves me, number one. Number two, he's completely fucking silent. So I can say whatever the fuck I want and get as mad as I want and have as many angry emotions as I want. But if I'm not communicating them to him and he's not communicating back to me, it's literally, I'm just doing nothing. Literally, I am that statement. It is what it is, which if you ever thought about it is literally this. No change, right? Like nothing is happening. So I'm tired of it. I'm not going to fight. Literally not fighting anymore against this energy. No sense in it. I'm just going to allow it. I'm going to allow divine masculine to be his good ass self silent, not telling me anything. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And I'm going to work on my own foundation, because if I need this offer from a divine masculine, that's another thing. If I feel like I need this offer, not just for physical companionship, or for security in terms of relationship stability, like, oh, he's not going to cheat on me because we're married. I love how people are like, that's going to solve all of the problems we have with third party energy if we just get married. No. But regardless, if that's the story you're telling, like if he locks it down, it's locked down. So there's that kind of a need for an offer. But then there's the other one, which is like, I'm stronger if I'm supported by and with someone else. Now, that's true. You are stronger when you support someone else. In the tarot community, if you save my posts and I save your posts, we're both stronger. We're mutually supportive. So in a relationship, also, please do that, by the way. They're getting rid of likes, apparently. So now you have to save posts, which, why do I want to have 15 million categories of saved posts when all I would have to do is go to the profile of the person and go to that post if I wanted to? I just don't understand. Like, but whatever. Anyway, so save posts now on Instagram if you want to help out your favorite readers, or if you even want to see their content, because apparently you constantly have to work on Instagram to see what you want to see. I think it's funny. They're like, listen, we're going to give you this free platform, but you're going to have to work like, I don't know, 8-ish hours a day to save posts that you like so that you can see the things you already follow. Okay, anyway, that's a side note. So another reason is that you might feel that you have to have a partner in order to feel financially stable. And so you're like, nah, I can't get that from a divine masculine energy. So I'm going to stop fighting against this one who is silent. And I'm going to focus instead on my own coin. Because right now, my coin is feeling a little on the small side. I want the ace, right? And this page of pentacles is coming up. Now, this is a delightful energy, though. I pulled back in the Fountain Tarot because I was missing her. I love her. And this is this delighted child. It doesn't have the same kind of energy where you have a little bit more pensiveness that's like looking and assessing at this offer and being like, not big enough. It's not that kind of an energy. It's actually just delight. You're delighted in working on this foundation. You're also not fighting divine masculine's worth energy right now. You know divine masculine has issues and you're just like, I'm not going to fight it. I can't give enough of myself. I can't make myself poor enough to make him rich. Right? That doesn't make any sense. If you're depleting yourself, constantly trying to beef up his confidence about his offer, and then he's just sitting there silently being his good self, like loving the shit out of you from a distance while you work on your own stuff. You're just like, okay, well, I'm not going to keep propping him up. It's not really my job. Like, he needs to understand himself as a king, an emperor, whatever. And it's really not my job. And I spend all this time propping him up and be like, oh, you're doing such a good job. And like, I'm not doing that for myself. So I need to give myself what I need. I'm not going to fight him. It's not going to be like, oh, you can't have me to my masculine. I'm going to be with someone else. Or like, oh, I'm not going to write to you anymore. I'm going to block you. Or it's not any of that. It's like, I'm not going to fight it. He loves me, expresses it to me. I'll express it back. He reaches out to me. I'll reach out to him. He gives me a little gesture. I'll give him a little gesture. But my main focus is going to be taking this modest beginning that I'm at with myself and growing that into really something that's impressive. Taking this small foundation that I've established and turning it into this Ace of Pentacles, this really large, abundant offer for myself. 5 of Wands in reverse. We are seeing a lot of these 5s come up. I was seeing them all over the place. We had 5 of Wands yesterday. Both had space of divine masculine, a heart space of divine feminine. And it's what's clarifying this King of Cups energy. And what it represents for me is unblocking. So divine feminine feels that by not fighting against him, and focusing on her own solid foundation that she has for herself, where she doesn't need anybody. She doesn't need a divine masculine to give her anything. She can see these small gestures that he's been making unblock and finally become something a little bit more significant. The next energy that's coming up is the Page of Cups. So this is that new love, that innocent, true love card. Goofy, awkward, difficult to express. This is the foundation for divine feminine. She understands she's not going to fight this King of Cups because the foundation of their relationship and interactions together is true love. And she understands that when this king is ready, this true love will be unblocked and she will experience it. And he is making these small steps, these small gestures to express this to her, which also means as she focuses on her passion, on her, what brings her fulfillment, her true love, her, what she has true love for in her life, that's the foundation that she builds her own worth on. And as she makes these small gestures, she also unblocks this ability to come into the full expression that's in the King of Cups energy. Let's go to her heart space. Top of the deck, overall heart space for divine feminine. 5 of Swords in reverse. So her head and her heart are in union. Not going to fight it. Not going to fight it. What's she not fighting against? Also, this card says defeat. So she's not going to fight it. She's not going to allow this to make her feel defeated. The niggling feeling in her heart space is the Tower. But don't freak out because this Tower card is interesting. All the other Tower cards I've ever seen, we see people in flames coming out of this Tower. There's a lot of fear associated with it, and the Tower itself is crumbling. But in this picture, this Tower withstands the lightning bolt. There's no one burning and nothing is coming down. This is a Tower that is solid, a Tower that is stable. It's just like that 4 of Pentacles in her headspace, which is a solid, stable foundation. So she's not going to fight against any of these Tower moments that are happening in the relationship because she feels strong enough to withstand them. She feels they're going to be able to rebuild the Tower from the pieces that have fallen, that all of those pieces are going to fall into place because of the stability that she feels in regards to that foundation of true love there in her headspace. We're getting the 8 of Discs in reverse, or 8 of Pentacles in reverse, which is clarifying the 5 of Swords in reverse in her headspace. So the 8 of Pentacles is, of course, like working on something, working on a craft, creating abundance, growing your wealth, growing your prosperity. Very hard working card. It's a card usually about career. And in this imagery, we've got this individual, which in this deck is either the Emperor or the Empress, because the wolves in the deck are the Emperor Empress energy. And we've got all the cycles of the moon being represented. So it's like the moons pass, the months pass, the days pass, the years pass. And there's a dedication to something, a dedication to some kind of a calling. And divine feminine is not going to fight against this dedication that she has been experiencing to not only the divine masculine energy, but to her own ability to create, craft, and bring expression of this, whatever it is that she's creating, into the world. She's not going to fight against this feeling of dedication she has always had to this thing she has wanted to do. This is the 4 of Swords from the Field Tarot. On the bottom of the card, it has the word rest, and it's in reverse in regards to this King of Cups. Now, the 4 of Swords is about silence, and a reversal on the 4 of Swords is about breaking silence. So Divine Feminine feels this King of Cups is ready to break silence. She also feels with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse and the Four of Swords in reverse after that, that it is time to stop resting, like stop sleeping on the job. She's not quite doing what the work she needs to do because she was wasting her time fighting the silent energy she was getting from Divine Masculine. And because she was focused on his silence, that's what she was experiencing. And she was getting more and more fixated on what exactly he was hiding from her. And this is distracting her from bringing herself this offer of her own abundance that is a full expression of her worthiness that comes from herself. She keeps saying things like, I deserve this, but then not giving herself what she deserves. And she focuses on how this person outside of herself doesn't give herself what she deserves. But in reality, she's not doing it. And so she's putting this resentment out on this other party. And it's really got nothing to do with them. It's her that's not giving what she wants. She's not speaking. She's not communicating. She's not saying, this is what I need. This is what you have to give me. And this is what I will be open to receiving. And then she's not doing that for herself, right? She's not fully dedicating herself to her craft. She's been sleeping on the job a little bit, being overly focused on what she's getting from outside of herself, which is that Four of Pentacles, the attachment to what's outside of herself, which is being clarified by Justice in reverse. So we're seeing her feeling like there is a lack of justice in regards to her material foundation, that she should have more stability and more external validation of this thing that she wants, either this relationship or the manifestation. She's feeling like it's unfair, that she doesn't see the stability that should be there when she feels in her heart space that this is really a good connection that she wants to nurture and allow to grow. It's also about how there's karma. There's karma for her built up in this, that there's like this justice will be done in regards to how she has had to, the work she has had to do to get this stability for herself. As when she starts feeling less like, when she stops feeling like it's unfair, that it's, you know, like it's really hard for me, other people have this person has this person should have done this for me and they didn't, why didn't this person do that for me? When she stops focusing on the injustice of the situation, she's gonna start to see that the stability she's been questioning has come from her own inability to focus on the stability she has. This Page of Pentacles is clarified by the Ace of Cups. So this, remember, she's loving herself, her cup is filled, and she's going to see that reflected back to her. I love that image of this Ace of Cups in this deck because of that. And it's clarifying this small gestures. It's like every small gesture she sees is this reflection of her own self-love. Every little step she takes for herself is a reflection back to her that she loves herself. And when she takes all these little steps herself, Divine Masculine takes these steps too. And if you were ever wondering why it was so slow moving and getting so annoyed about how long this process takes, well, Divine Feminine, it's because your steps towards your self-love have been so small. You've been doing a great job, but you're taking baby steps towards the self-love, and you could be taking giant leaps towards the self-love when you distract yourself from this fixation on the injustice that has been done. Then we are getting the Chariot in reverse for Divine Feminine. So Divine Feminine, this is what is clarifying your Five of Wands energy. This Chariot in reverse, which is about how the stuck energy, how the forward motion that you were seeking was halted because of this block that you were experiencing. But you realized that the block came from this fixation on wanting to be the one that was in control, releasing this need to control. Your ego wanted to control the situation because it wants to avoid feeling humiliated. That's usually the biggest fear it has, feeling humiliated. So it's doing all these machinations to try to control the situation, which when you're dealing with the King of Cups that's not speaking, completely useless. So you have been in this state where you are unblocking yourself so that you can release the need to control the situation and allow yourself to feel this Page of Cups energy, this true love, this innocence and purity, and come out of the Five of Pentacles, come out of the lack mentality, come out of the cold. This is your heart's desire, to no longer be in the cold in regards to this divine masculine and also in regards to yourself, but to feel the warmth that comes from your own spiritual abundance. All right, let's take a look at the oracles for divine masculine. You are in the shadow attributes of the seeker right now, which is an inability to commit to the path once found. So you found the path. We saw Saint Anthony in your headspace a while back. You found the path, right? But you are not committing to it. You are plodding along, getting distracted in that Knight of Cups energy, or Knight of Pentacles energy, looking at all the sights along the way, trying to plan every single thing so that nothing goes wrong. And because of that, you're not really committing to the path that you found, which is this direct path right to your feminine. You need to call in the light, which is the thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Divine masculine, you keep waiting for the circumstances to be perfect. And if that's where you're going to be, you will be watching my readings forever, but I will have moved on. So you really need to just head on that path wherever you are right now without needing anything to change. You're also in the shadow attributes of the athlete, which is a misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends and a false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. And the light attributes are a dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, and development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. So you need to develop your strength of spirit to be able to commit to the path that you found. You found the path, which is a complicated one. You want it, but you keep second guessing yourself. You want this to look perfect, so you keep distracting yourself along the way. You need to go after that truth and wisdom wherever you are right now with willpower and strength of spirit. And there's something about entitlement that's in here, about having this sense of entitlement, like you're entitled to experience this a certain way now because of the shit that you've gone through. And it's like, bro, lose that story. There's a bit of victim mentality going on there. Healing. St. Padre Pio is here, and there's an emphasis here on healing energy. You are healing. Divine Feminine is healing. We're always healing, right? But you have been doing this healing. This has been taking place, and you can trust that you're not going to engage in the behaviors that you've engaged in the past. It will never be the same way. You can't unsee this once you've seen it, and it's annoying. I'm sorry to tell you, for the rest of your days. You'll jump to blame something outside of yourself, and then within a few seconds to a few minutes, you'll be like, I still don't believe I can have this thing, right? You can't ever unsee that. So you have done this healing, and you will continue throughout time to do this healing. You're not going to be in a perfect state. You just have to come in. But your guardian angel is here with an emphasis on triumph. You will be triumphant. You are triumphant. And then we're getting a message about grieving. So there could be some loss here that has been experienced for divine masculine energy, like an actual death or a loss. We didn't see the death card anywhere in the spread today, but it could also just be that there's a past part of self that's being grieved for, and there's a 5 of Cups energy there too, where it's like if you're focused on your grief and you're focused on your loss, it's difficult for you to see what you are gaining. And I feel a sneeze coming on, so that must be an important message. You want to focus on, you want to feel the grief for the thing that is passing away. Fully feel it in whatever expression feels best. And then start to rebuild from those feelings of grief in a sense of optimism that when a door is closed, a window opens, right? There is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. Okay, I love this message for divine masculine, especially with the next card that's coming up. The next 2 cards that are coming up, this is perfect. There is nothing. So divine masculine's worried about how sexy he is, how cool he is, how good he looks, how much, he wants to flex. Like, look at this jewelry that I got you, that I'm wearing, like this very expensive clothing that I guarantee for my, just so you know, divine masculine, you always look really good to me. You look really amazing. But I know dick all about fashion. So you can be wearing anything and I'm just going to be like, dude, that looks fly as fuck. And you're going to be like, oh, it's this brand. And I'm going to be like, no clue what that is. Just so you know. Okay. Anyway, but you look great and I really appreciate it. So you care a lot about that. You care about what you look like and how you present yourself, and you want to come off as sexy. And what the universe is telling you is like, babe, you can do whatever you want to the outside of yourself. You can adorn yourself with, luxurious things, and you should, because it's fun and it's an enjoyable activity for everyone involved, including me, who gets to look at it. But still, nothing that you do outwardly, no song that you send or make or create or writing or poetry or big career move or legal deal that made so much money or whatever, nothing is sexier than you just telling the fucking truth. And that is so easy to do and doesn't require any methodical plotting. It just requires you to be honest with yourself and with divine feminine. So nothing is sexier than your authentic truth and being exactly who it is that you are. And then these 2 cards. Communication is key. And confidence is your key to success. So you don't feel confident enough to express yourself, but there's nothing sexier than the truth. So if you know that the only thing divine feminine really wants to hear is the truth of how you feel, that is what she wants to hear. Now, this is true. If you're watching this for a specific iteration, if you are a divine feminine right now, and you are listening to this part of the reading as if it were about a divine masculine energy that you are wanting to call into your life, this is you. You must embrace that confidence comes from your authentic truth. Nothing is sexier than your authentic truth, which gives you the confidence that is key to being able to express yourself, which is key to being able to come into union. So if you want divine masculine to open his mouth and express, you must be doing this in your life. You must be doing this to him, first of all. You have to speak to him directly if you can. If you cannot, you must do this in other ways so that that energy will be reflected back to you. I have no real way of communicating outside of this. This is my only way of communicating. So I'm communicating directly my authentic truth every motherfucking day. So I have lots of confidence and I communicate like a dream. And that's probably why my divine masculine doesn't communicate very well, is like, wow, that's cool. I appreciate that. Wish I could do that. And is attracted to me. Cool for me. It would just be great if he could also express to me. directly. Hey, trust your path, divine masculine. Remember how you were having an inability to commit to your path? You're afraid to commit to your path because what if it's the wrong choice? First of all, you can't get it wrong and you'll never get it done. So just release that. That's not a real thing. That's an illusion that is created by your ego to make you feel like you can't do the things that your ego is afraid it's not going to be able to handle. Aren't you annoyed that your ego is like, nope, can't do that? Like, well, what the fuck do you know about it? Literally nothing, because I prove to myself every day when I sit at the piano and sit through the discomfort of not knowing how to do something that my ego is like, bitch, you can't play this perfectly. You should not do this. You look like an idiot right now. And I'm like, first of all, I'm alone in my apartment, ego. And second of all, how do you expect to do this perfectly if I don't practice it and make mistakes? Blink, 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 blink. And the ego is like, no, I'm doing anything to protect myself from this uncomfortable feeling of not being the center of the universe. You got to fight it. Just fight it. Fight off the urge that you have to believe the ego's fears about what is true for you. First of all, it's a bunch of bullshit that's just designed to make you miserable. It literally is the devil. All right. We are getting butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. And we're getting the protection message, which is transformation does not have to be as traumatic or dramatic as things may seem to be right now. Remember, change is the only true constant. When you resist it, you create a tension within you as you refuse to accept the inevitable. In this moment, you might have forgotten the beauty and joy of life as it moves through its seasons, as nature dictates. You are being faced with a choice now. You can struggle with the current conditions, refusing to surrender and see through the lens of lack and loss, or you can surrender to the grace that is calling you to allow life to take its course, moving through the sadness and disappointment. Surrender will soften you, inviting you to bask in gratitude and see through the lens of curiosity. These are the keys to tuning into the infinite potential available to you right now. Butterfly spirit knows the beauty and delight you are on the brink of discovering. Let go and trust that it is there for you. All righty. Transformation is beautiful. Trust your path. Commit to it. Trust it. Divine feminine, girl. I don't know what is going on with you today, but this is a 100 million. Look at these oracles. No. All right. You need to get your shit together. Let's figure out what's going on here. You're in the shadow attributes of the pioneer, which is compulsive need to keep moving on. Hey, you know what? Divine masculine, he was having an inability to commit to the path, and you have a compulsive need to keep moving on. I'll tell you what keeps happening. You keep believing that this divine masculine energy does love you, or likes you, whatever, and you feel good. And then you go with it. And then when you have one tiny iota of fear that you're going to experience disappointment, for me, it's always about timeline. I don't think my divine masculine is never going to come. I really don't think that. But I think he's taking his fucking damn time and is going to come whenever the fuck he wants. And so there's part of me that's like, okay, cool. Well, maybe he's not going to come for 5 years. So that's my thing that happens. Like, I'll be like, great, I'm going to be alone for 5 years, and then I'm going to be barren and useless. And maybe you relate to that, and maybe that's what you think, or maybe you think like, oh, he doesn't really like me. There's another third-party energy, and he's just kind of using me to make himself feel better, or, there's all these fucking stories. Whatever your story is, you get a little taste. You like what you taste. You want more of it. You don't really feel like you're sure he does too. So you wait. And then when you don't get what you expect, you're like, fuck this. I'm moving on. I'm getting a dating profile, and this isn't the person for me. This person isn't giving me what I deserve. That entitlement thing comes in. You're just like, nah. You need to call in the light. You need to have a passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. And that means what you always do, you need to have a passion for doing the opposite thing. If when you feel good, leave the date, go home, wait 3 days, don't feel good because now the communication isn't what you expect, or if you, in my case, get some kind of a message and you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And then like days go by and you're like, is this going to keep happening? And then you do something, whatever that thing is that you do, which for me, I've stopped doing. For me in the past, it was I wrote a crazy, upset, depressed poem about it, posted on the internet, or because I'm a Pisces rising. What am I gonna say? Or I came on this channel and was like, oh my God, whatever. Right? And now what I've been doing is going, okay. And I'm really doing that. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing. And it's not like I'm just gonna do my thing. Like it's okay, well, I'm gonna do my thing. You can do what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I'm doing some stuff though, so I'm gonna do that. And I'll see you when I see it. Right? That's doing and creating what I haven't done before. Because in the past, I would be sending him some kind of poem. Like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so embarrassing. Okay, so anyway, stop doing what you've always done. Release this compulsive need to move on because you're uncomfortable. Again, same thing. When you practice, you're uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. Just be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable and let the discomfort help you express your discomfort. Because if you can't tell this person that you want to be with that you're uncomfortable, why do you want to be with them? Alchemist, you are in the light attributes of this. You're transforming your base motives and goals into the golden wisdom. So that's good. Your ego isn't running the show anymore. You were releasing the desire to control things. So you're transforming your base motives of getting your needs met, what you need, how you need it, when you need it. And you're turning this into, oh, this is about learning. This is about gaining wisdom. This is about gathering information on social interactions and being able to have healthy communication with anyone in my present or future. It's a way for me to go back to my past and examine the places where I didn't receive the communication I needed and give myself a sense that I deserved that communication and that I can have that communication now in my present and in my future. So you're in the light attributes of that. Transmuting that energy of your base motives to satisfy your material needs or feelings of entitlement, you're releasing that. You're also in the shadow attributes of the nature child, which is a tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. And you need to call in the light, which is friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. There is a part of you that was programmed by an early influence who was abusive to protect yourself through being abusive. And so when you are experiencing something you don't like or you are uncomfortable with, you have a tendency to abuse yourself first, because we always abuse ourselves first. Once we experience that abuse to ourselves, and it will look like this. Let's say you're in a situation where, for instance, let's say I'm like, oh my God, my divine masculine is going to do something. And he posted something and it means this. And then the next day he just posts nothing that makes any sense. And I'm like, I made it all up. I'm a stupid fucking idiot. Like, why did I fucking think that? Like, I'm a dumb fat asshole. Like, nobody would ever feel this way about me. Like, I'm just pathetic. I'm pathetic. I can't even do anything I'm supposed to do. And I'm just like focusing on and I'm doing like a minor version of the sound that I receive when I allow myself to go into that deeply toxic, abusive self-talk that I clearly heard while I was growing up. Not only towards me at times, but watching my parents abuse themselves verbally, because my dad would say, he was fat because he was lazy and he couldn't take control himself. And my mother would say the other thing, whatever. So I'm programmed to be like, I'm a stupid fucking idiot. Okay. First, I abuse myself. Now I feel terrible. Not only did I just say things that are so profoundly poisonous that I would never say to another living being ever, but I was already feeling bad about the experience I had, and now I'm making myself feel bad for feeling bad. So I can't have my feelings either. Now my feelings have to be about how stupid I am, not about the experience of how I needed something, attention, security, whatever, and it wasn't given to me, and I don't know how to give it to myself. No, it's not that. It's just you're a loser, and you're a loser for being a loser, and you're a loser for knowing you're a loser and being a loser and still being a loser. Like, it's just like, then you interact with the person that you feel caused you to feel this way. And what are you? You're abusive. You're either manipulative, emotionally manipulative, like writing poems that are expressing how fucking desperate you are for their attention or for the need for them to see you or to understand. If they only understood how hard it is for me, then they wouldn't do this. Really? What about how hard it is for them? So this is not a shadow that is comfortable to admit about ourselves, but it's one that you're being called to look at. In your nature, there is something within you that causes you to abuse others. But the first victim of abuse is yourself. And so the path to healing is friendship and communication with yourself. And giving yourself the permission to fuck up and make mistakes. Giving yourself the permission to feel foolish. There's nothing wrong with feeling foolish. Not a thing in the world. If you don't experience feelings of foolishness, that means you never try anything that you've never done before. You never allow yourself to be caught up in excitement. You never experience life. We're all a bunch of fools. We are all fools. Also, it's so narcissistic to be like, oh my God, people care if I'm a fool. Nobody gives a fuck. No one. No one. Your mom is probably narcissistic. She probably doesn't even care either if you're narcissistic. Nobody cares. There's no one sitting there with a notebook writing down, oh my God, today I was watching Pearl and that bitch, like, she got utterly rejected. What? No one is keeping tabs on you. Just so you know. You are in the light attributes of the servant. You are not using a lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. This is a big one for you. We've seen this come up for both you and Divine Masculine. You're delighting in serving others with a free and loving heart. And you are just believing that you can do what it is that you want, and money really isn't an obstacle to be able to do those things, and that giving service brings you abundance. Christ is here with a miracle. This is healing and rebirth all in one. And it's sudden and it's an intervention. So you're going to experience a miraculous intervention in the situation that you are in. You are getting this card about boundaries. And a lot of times when I get this card, I think it's about establishing boundaries for yourself so you can protect yourself. But that's not what this card is about today. It's about you having healthier boundaries in regards to others. So instead of you protecting yourself from others, it's about you lowering the boundaries for the ones that you feel are transgressing. You are putting up too many barriers. You're also crossing their boundaries. You feel like it's appropriate for you to cross over their boundaries that they've established to try to get them to be more open with you. And that's not appropriate. You have to respect other people's boundaries. So I feel that you are kind of being a little bit overbearing. And it's not coming from a place of, it's not an intentional malicious in any way. It comes from how you were raised. Like you had somebody in the chain that didn't have healthy boundaries, that would be controlling with you and your behaviors, that felt like it was appropriate for them to be. Look at the look on her face. It's like a resting bitch face, I would say, but it's not friendly. And it's not, and what I'm seeing is that it's a barrier that's put up in resistance to something that you actually desire. And so you need to make sure that you actually have healthy boundaries and that you respect others' healthy boundaries. All right. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. If you're feeling confused, if you're feeling worried, I just saw 111. If you're feeling any type of way in regards to a situation that you're in, the moment that you realign with the love that you feel for this person or for yourself or for this thing, that is when you will achieve clarity. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. So if you're like, okay, well, how do I realign with love when I'm in this confusion or I'm in this place where I feel uncomfortable or whatever it is? This is how. Prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Your breath, focusing on an environmental element, a natural element, petting your cat, petting your dog, sitting with your back up against a tree. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid discomfort. Wow, how much did we talk about discomfort today? And this is what you get. Deeper meaning and personal growth. So you know what? If I talk to you and I say, hey, did you feel uncomfortable today? And you tell me no, I'm going to be like, man, I'm disappointed for you. If you would have felt a little bit uncomfortable today, you would have been experiencing deeper meaning and personal growth. You missed out, bro. Sorry for that. Hope you can feel uncomfortable tomorrow. Surrender to the divine. Give those reins to the higher self. The higher self is in tune, and the higher self is way better driving. So surrender to the divine. Your council of light is here. There's divine orchestration, and you have help coming from these subtle realms. So you just need to, and then the next card that's coming up is let spirit be your guide from Hawk Spirit. So to have your divine orchestration and council of light, and then the next command be, oh, by the way, also just, let spirit be your guide. I think you need to surrender to the divine. Flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details, observes the rain in the pond as well as the cloud, and doesn't miss anything. And when Hawk Spirit arrives, you are called to pay close attention to messages from Spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Listen to your intuition and keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending to guide you. Lately, have you been hearing the same word or song or coming across the same symbol here, there, and in the strangest places? Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, or you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, or other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you to notice. Pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants to communicate and reaches out again and again. When Hawk Spirit appears, it is a sign to listen. Let Spirit guide you along this divinely orchestrated path. All right, we're at 1 minute and 14, we're at 1 hour and 14 minutes. I got to get going soon. So let's close out with the bottom of the deck. These are the cards that you share in union together. You are afraid of intimacy. Both of you are in the shadow, fear of intimacy. Now, I see this card come out upright and in reverse throughout your relationship. So there are times when you are not afraid of intimacy, and there are times when you are. The intimacy that is being most feared right now is emotional intimacy. It's not physical intimacy, it is emotional intimacy that you are afraid of. And you have to come into the light, which is maintaining the symbolic purity of your heart and your spirit. Your heart and your spirit are in this Page of Cups, this beginner's mind in regards to love. And that is a frightening place to be. And that is what causes this fear of intimate union. You must release these fears to be together. And you can do this by speaking your truth. What does that mean? That means if you can, you need to say to your partner that you want to be in this manifested relationship with, I'm afraid of being truly intimate with you. You know that's true, and you know that the other person is also afraid of it, or else you would be truly intimate right now. So you must both speak to each other. Ace of Swords in reverse, that needs to come upright for Divine Masculine. You need to speak your truth, and you need to say to Divine Feminine, the only reason that I wasn't with you is because I was afraid of intimacy with you. And she needs to respond, that's okay. The only reason that I wasn't speaking to you and I wasn't with you is because I was afraid of intimate union with you. And you're being supported by Saint Bernadette. If you have to speak some truths to somebody and you're afraid, call on Saint Bernadette to help you. You're getting the talent card. You both have a talent. You both have, it could be a shared talent too that you both experience. But you are getting this Three of Pentacles energy in Divine Masculine's headspace, which has to do with being able to come into this full expression of destiny and collaboration and teamwork. So there's some elements that have come together that have aligned perfectly and that you have nurtured into this talent or gift that you share. And you support each other in this, and it helps you maintain your sense of individuality in the union, but it's also a meeting place for collaboration. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams, and the song for the Divine Masculine today, which is in the time-lapse shuffle that I put on Instagram prior to coming on for the live reading. So if you want to know when I'm going live, follow me on Instagram. I put up the time-lapse shuffle with the songs that came on and played while I was shuffling, and today was All I Have to Do Is Dream for Divine Masculine, and Divine Feminine was a Gold Panda song called Pink and Green, which are the colors of the heart chakra. So she was silent, but she was very in her heart space, just kind of calm and like tuned into her heart in the music or in the energy of that music. So this stream of love, there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. All I have to do is dream, right? And I'm being supported in that. The answers you need are coming. And that's that Gemini answer, or that Gemini imagery for that twin connection. You are birthing a new age, birthing new creations, and dreaming a new world into being. So it's painful, it's difficult, it takes a minute, it doesn't just happen overnight. It really requires a lot of effort on both of your parts, but you are currently doing this. You are birthing this new creation. And then we're getting Armadillo Spirit. Set healthy boundaries. And I don't think I need to explain this anymore. Divine Feminine, you already got a lot of detail about boundaries. Number one, having healthy boundaries versus having protective boundaries that are just more like the Eight of Swords energy than they are the Seven of Wands energy, I would think. So you're wanting to make sure that when you set boundaries, it's really serving you, not doing a disservice to what it is that you desire. The other thing is that you need to respect the other person's boundaries more. So it's like you're worried about them respecting your boundaries while at the same time crossing theirs. If they have told you something about their intentions and those intentions are clear and you don't like those intentions, but they told you what they were, and then you keep pushing the boundary of the intention, you're disrespecting their boundary. Now, they set a boundary and you agreed to it. It's your job now to honor and respect it. And if it's not a comfortable boundary for you, it's your job to start to make moves away from that particular iteration because that boundary doesn't meet your needs. If they are putting the boundary up in the same way that you do, which is in a self-protective way that is keeping them from being with you, and you start to shift your energy away, they will pull down the boundary and they will come towards you. And if they do not, it will be fine because you will have moved towards an energy that matches what you feel is a healthy boundary. But don't push against someone's boundaries when they've told you what they are capable of. And I'm listening to this and heeding my own advice. If they have indicated that they can't receive information in a certain way or they're not ready, don't push their boundaries. There's no that's a lose-lose situation. All right, let's look at the final closing energy. It's 10:44 right now. We're going to pull a goddess card from the goddess knowledge cards to help us in our goddess practice, which is where we put two hands over our heart at some time today. And we repeat the mantra, my heart is the heart of the goddess. And we're doing this to balance out divine feminine energy because we have overemphasized masculine energy in God worship without honoring goddess worship. You can picture any divine feminine energy from any modality at all, including yourself as the beautiful divine feminine energy. And you are welcome to include a new goddess that you might learn about from a different culture across time from this deck. Today, we're going to read about Hel, Hel, the Norse queen of the underworld, a mother goddess in her underworld guise. She rules over a fiery womb of regeneration and is especially responsible for those who die of disease or old age. Her underworld, unlike the Christian hell, which received its name from her, is simply an otherworld, a place of renewal rather than a place of punishment and misery. When northern shamans visit her realm, they put on the Hellkappa, a magic mask, sometimes a helmet, that renders them invisible. It is possible that the masked harlequin, a standard character in Commedia dell'arte, was originally one of the kindred of the goddess Hel. Hel is an embodiment of the divine mystery, a challenge to look beyond the mask of appearance, to see things as they really are. So, I sense an unmasking about to happen, and I think that Seven of Swords energy that's bugging divine feminine is about to go away based on the divine masculine's trajectory, slowly and steadily. Thank you so much for joining me today for this look at the energetic balance. Please like, subscribe, share, click notifications if you want to know when I'm going live, or follow me on Tuned In Tarot. Normally there is a 12 p.m. reading on Sundays with Grace Strega, but she is taking some relaxation and rest on a little mini vacation. So we won't see her tomorrow, but I will be doing a daily morning reading instead. So I will see you tomorrow morning here on Tuned In Tarot. And then I'm planning to do a bi-weekly 3-card reading for my Patreon subscribers. So if you're interested in that, click the description box below. There's a link to a wish list of cards that I'm interested in. If you want to support me and change up the imagery on the site, you're welcome to purchase one of those decks to show your support. There's the Patreon link, which has 3 different levels that you can subscribe to if you're interested in receiving a little more content or supporting my musical endeavors as Pearl and the Prayers. So I'm hard at work on my record. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I shall see you tomorrow here on Tuned In Tarot. Have the best day.